go live on your...
I did.
Refresh.
It looks blurry today for some weird reason. I don't know. Try to see how we go here. Let's turn down the volume on this guy. I don't need to hear myself twice. And let's get to my group. Oh, there I was. Yep, there we are. Alright, Linnell's on, Anthony's on. Hello, hello.
It is blurry.
It is kind of blurry today, and I don't know why. Let's see. Let's try to force it to focus here. I don't know why. Cameras are being weird all of a sudden. Of course, when I choose to go live, it decides to go, don't want to work right now.
Maybe wipe off the soft towel, wipe off the camera.
Let me see.
Might be something on it that's like I don't want to focus.
Let me see. Maybe let's try a soft shirt. Let's see if this works. I don't know. All of a sudden it's being wonky. Sorry guys. Let's steady the camera now. Kinda sorta. Still a little blurry. Does it look blurry on y'all's end? Let me know. Oh,
Sorry. My bad.
oh, there's Teresa. Hey, Teresa. Let me know if it looks blurry on y'all's end, guys, or if it is just our TV being wonky that we watch. Let me know if it looks good or if it's blurry.
Yeah, I'm on 180p on my end, and it still looks it's a little blurry.
Okay. Well, even if it's just a little blurry, I mean, we can get through today. It's not like they're not able to see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I can figure it out. And Linnell says it's good for her. Okay. Okay. Cool. Good morning. Looks good to y'all. Awesome. Okay. Well then we're good. I'm not gonna worry about it. Okay. We'll give everybody just a second to kind of hop on, but we're gonna have a few things going on this morning. So while we're waiting for a few people to hop on, make sure that you have a arm for your turner and a foam that is going to fit. Where's the hole? There it is. That's going to fit in there. I pulled out some of my old black foams from my old turners that had 1/2 inch arms, but they're pretty squishy, so I was able to fit my 3/4 inch arm in for my Dino's turner into one of them to squish it in. If you don't have any of these, we can make, if you have like the little flower, we can make this part work in here. I know it kind of moves around a little bit, but what I did at home, because I don't have any of the black foam ones at home, I took this one and I wrapped a glove around it and then carefully put that in there, and it held it just fine. So we can make it work with almost anything. So I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to hop on. I'm gonna see if y'all can find your foams, and then I'm gonna show you how to take this apart. And we're gonna take this. There's a rubber like washer thing in here too. I'm gonna show you how to take that out. So first off, we're gonna need your arm with your foam. We're going to need, you'll want a weeding tool to pull that rubber piece out. It's much better to do that. And it helps if you have like a sturdy one, like the Cricut ones, how they have a thicker metal part. Some of the other ones, like my Caesar one, I love it for weeding, but it's super thin, and so it doesn't always work to grab and yank that out. So yes, make sure you have your arms with your foams for the cup. Make sure you have some tape today, your turner, your epoxy, the alcohol ink that y'all were sent in your kit. Make sure you have that. Make sure you have your white spray paint. You're gonna need a X-Acto knife or craft knife, whatever, for us to cut around when we tape off the bottom. Trying to think. You really don't have to have out your butterflies or your twinkle and golden twinkle just yet, or your keychain kit that I sent y'all extra in this month's kit. But we will be getting to this today, and you will need your glitters. Y'all's are gonna be in like a little stack of little jars with lids on them. Hey, Michelle. And so you'll need those, but not right this second. So, everybody, one more minute, and then we will start pulling things apart and going from there.
Did she comment on?
Michelle Smith? It just said she's watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't say she commented, but it tells me she's
Sometimes
watching.
it doesn't tell me when people are watching.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, but this is what we'll be making this time. This is gonna have to be done in 2 parts, because we've got to do the inside of our snow globe, and then we have to do the outside spray paint, and then we got to do the vines on the inside and vines on the outside, and then we got to epoxy all of it and all that fun stuff. And then y'all will notice that you've got, I didn't grab mine out today because we won't get to them today, but you'll notice in your kit you've got some butterfly charms and like little circle gold pieces. Don't lose those because I didn't get time to finish my cup. We've had a lot going on at the store lately, which we will discuss in just a little bit too. But those little circle things and the butterfly charms are going to be spinners on our cup. So we're going to have butterfly spinners on the outside of our cup. We've got butterfly glitters on the inside of our cup. So, you know, fun all around things here. So, but yeah, this is what we're creating this time. So, all right, it is 10:37. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is another, which, let me shake this up. Hang on, y'all, because this one hasn't been shook up in a few. This is another version. This was my first version of this cup. I'm pretty sure that all of y'all are aware and know that I create all the designs for our kits. I don't just pull a template from somebody or download something somewhere. I create all of our templates that we do in our kits. So this was my first design, and while I think it's super cute and I love it, and you can still make this one at a later date if you want to. I'll even upload the butterflies that I used, but I like it. It is cute, but to me, whenever I did the alcohol inks out here, it kind of blended in with the alcohol inks in here, and I couldn't figure out another color that I wanted to use. So this one was like, it's cute, but not exactly where I wanted to go for this month's kit. So it's going to be using the same, you would use the same techniques to make something like this as we're using today. This one, instead of like where the blue is on y'all's cup to cover up all of the holes here, you would just put the butterflies down on your cup and then follow all the other same instructions we're going to be using today. So this was the first version. Like I said, although I think it's super cute, it just wasn't what I was driving for this month's kit. I was like, it's cute, but not exactly what I want to do. So this is another way, and I want y'all to use the techniques that I teach y'all, not just to recreate the cup that I have designed for this kit, but take the techniques and use them in your own way. Like, use a peekaboo, which is what this is called, in your own way. The alcohol inks can be applied to the outside of an entire tumbler, different ways, mixing different ones. In my free group and on my YouTube channel, I have one where I created a nativity scene cup using the alcohol inks on the outside of the entire tumbler. So always take the techniques that I am teaching y'all and think about how to apply them differently. Don't think that it's just only used in the way that I'm teaching you how to use it, because it's not. I try to teach techniques that can go in so many different ways that you could apply in other tumblers. So keep that in mind. Don't think it has to be done only the way I'm doing it. I'm going to set this one back here. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It's been 10 minutes since we started the video, so we're going to start on our cup. So everybody grab your tumbler that I sent you. Y'all's is going to have the blue on the outside. I didn't wrap mine so that y'all could see how I wrap it. So mine doesn't have the blue stencil on it yet. Yours will have the blue stencil, but go ahead and grab your cup. And then we're going to take this cup apart. So this inside white piece is actually separate from this outside clear piece. It may take a little persuasion because they have washers on the inside of theirs. Some of them do and some of them don't for different brands. This one is a Hog and they do. So I just kind of wiggle it back and forth. It eventually will let loose, okay? This little black stopper in the bottom of your cup, go ahead and take this out and put it in your box or somewhere where you won't lose it. We will need this to seal up the bottom of our tumbler after we do all the snow globe stuff inside. Okay, so don't lose this little black piece. That is the box for that one. This is the box for this one. I always put my lid, like I leave my lid wrapped up in the bubble wrap and put it back in my box, and then I'm just going to drop that stopper in there. These are kind of hard to write on because the box is black because it's a sublimation technically. But typically I usually take, and on the lid of my box, I usually write what cup that is. Sometimes I have boxes just kind of everywhere, and it's easier for me to have it on the lid of what tumbler that actually is. So you put Butterfly Garden or whatever on your box lid. Just kind of another tip that I like to use. Okay, so once we've got our clear piece separated from our white piece, now you can kind of see there is a black rubber gasket inside of here, and that's what we want to take out. What I do is I typically take my weeding pick, and like I said, for this I use a thicker one, so these Cricut ones are really good. And I will take and I slide it down the side of my cup. Can you wait 1 minute? Sure. Yeah, we'll hold right here for just a minute. Sure can.
Yeah, I think what we spent like a good 2-3 hours trying to figure out what we could do for this cup.
Yeah. Yeah, just the designing part alone. Because after I did the butterflies, and I was like, I like it, but not what I want. So after that, yeah, we spent a little bit of time and trying to find the right thing that I wanted to do in the right angles, and because like all of the lattice work that we're gonna be doing and painting, like I literally line by line created this and all my different angles and getting them the right ways and, you know, separated out. And so yeah, it took a little bit, but I think it turned out super cute and definitely worth it. And you'll notice if you're looking at this one, I don't have vines on the inside of this one. We are going to be putting vines on the inside of the one we're doing together if you want to. Again, this is your cup. Totally do what you want to do, boo. But I already had the inside of this one sealed and the outside of it painted, and then I was like, it needs something else. So then that's whenever I added the vines, but since the inside was already sealed everywhere and full of the snow globe mix, I can't just pop that off and put the vines on and put it back on. So I did send y'all vines that are in 2 different sizes. These are all the large ones. So you can choose to put large on the inside, small on the outside. You can do a mix on the inside, nothing on the outside, totally up to you. But that's why my vines are only on the outside of this one. And you can do whatever you want to do. Let's see, Anthony, can you hand me that cup holder, cup cradle right there, that teal one? That way I can kind of have it on my table. see that one as we go along. Alright, sis, are you ready to move forward, or did you need another minute? Let me know. Mia said hello and she's excited for today. Hi, Mia! Hi. Glad you're excited. Okay, good. I had to pull out my little turner. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Alright. So, we're going to go ahead and get this rubber gasket out of here. Like I said, not all of them have these, but Hog, all the ones I've gotten from Hog do. So, what I do is I take my weeding pick, and I slide it down the side of my white part of my cup, and I kind of do like a little twisty turn to get it up underneath, and sometimes it takes a little persuasion to get it up underneath that gasket, but I get it underneath that gasket. Hopefully y'all can kind of see that. So get it in there, twist and turn, get it underneath the gasket, and then pull it out. Again, this is going to take some persuasion, but if you can get it far enough out like this, you can remove your weeding pick and just slide it off the bottom. And I will tell y'all, you can do what you want to with these. You can keep them for later or whatever. I'm not going to be using this again. To me, this allows for too much air seepage, and to me, it's too much of a risk for my epoxy to not seal real good when we seal this up, and just too much of a risk of it leaking. So I don't use these. Those end up going in my trash can. So go ahead and get all of those out. Once you get that out, go ahead and get you a sanding sponge, because we are going to lightly sand this piece. And I emphasize lightly. We just need to scuff it up a little bit to where our epoxy with our alcohol ink is going to stick on here and not kind of slide around and repel. But you don't want to sand it so much that you're sanding the white coating off, okay? Because the white coating is the base for our alcohol ink blue swirl inside. We're not painting this part at all. We're using the white base that is already on here. So, lightly sand this outside area with your sanding sponge. Okay? Give everybody just a minute to catch up to me. I'm going to go ahead and grab my trash can that I sand in. Got my sanding block, got that. I'm going to grab a wipe to wipe off my cup after I sand it. Set that to the side. And I already have a paper towel to dry it off when I'm done with that. So, alright, give me a thumbs up when we have this rubber piece off in here and we're ready to start sanding. Excuse me. Got a thumbs up. There's one. There's another thumbs up.
So I didn't get either of those.
Uh-oh, okay. Yeah, restart that. Okay, we've gotten a couple of thumbs up. I think we've got Teresa and Mia, Linnell, and Michelle Smith on here watching. Is everybody crafting along with me today? Let me know, so that way I kind of know who to watch for ready and who's just kind of chilling and watching along with me and going to kind of complete later. Let me know. Let me know if you're crafting with me or crafting later. Crafting with me, yay! With me, yay! Alright, so Teresa and Mia and Linnell is with me.
Oh, Mia's doing this one too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. Mama's watching. Mom and Dad's watching somebody. Which one of them? Okay. Alright. Hi, Mama. Hi, Daddy. Whoever's watching me. Hello. Alright, I'm going to go ahead before I sand. You can do this now or you can do this after. It really doesn't matter. I like having something to hold on to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to squish my arm inside here. There we go. Make sure that my arm looks straight. Because sometimes with these foams, that's the problem I run into, is it's not straight. So I'm going to get that stuffed in there. That way I have something to hold on to. I don't know, it's just, I like something to hold on to. Okay? So, that in there if you're wanting to do that and ready. Grab your sanding sponge and lightly sand. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Just enough to scuff it up, not enough to remove the white coating. Okay? I'm going to go over my trash can, so you're not going to be able to see me overhead, but you should still be able to see me in my front-facing camera. So, like, literally, I'm just lightly sanding all around my cup. We don't want it to be super shiny, because the shiny is what repels the epoxy. But we don't want sanding off the white, okay? And don't sand the metal piece, just the white. Kind of turning it around, looking and seeing if there's somewhere super shiny that I missed. And then don't forget the bottom, okay? So I'm going to grab my cup. This time I'm going to grab the actual cup and I'm just going to lightly scuff up the bottom. And then I kind of go a round or two around the outside edge here, okay? And that is it, okay? Now I'm going to grab my disinfectant wipe and just kind of clean off all that sanding dust, because we don't want that sanding dust on our cup. It'll make your epoxy kind of milky, cloudy looking. We don't want that. Sand it off. Wipe it off. And then dry it off. Paper towel. Make sure you get down in that little valley there to get any moisture out, because we don't want moisture in our cup when we go to epoxy this in just a second. None of that. Got glitter already on the inside of my cup. I just opened it. Come on now. That's okay. Glitter's everywhere around here, so it happens. It happens.
Circulates there.
Yep. You got glitter in one project. You got glitter in all the projects.
Mm-hmm.
Just how it is. Let's see this one. There it is. This one should fit. Yep. Okay. Okay. show y'all next is how I wrapped these. Everybody voted. Everybody voted to have me wrap them before I shipped them to y'all, so all of y'all's should already be wrapped. But I still feel like it's necessary for me to show y'all how to wrap them, how I wrapped them. Especially with this one, like I had posted in the group whenever y'all voted. I didn't realize because the inside of this is totally straight. However, this outside little cover is totally not. It has a slight sneaky taper. So when I applied my stencil to mine, it wasn't totally straight. Didn't all match up because it's not totally straight. But it's okay. We make it work. That's okay. So you'll notice my template is straight. I created it straight. I designed it straight. This one would have been super hard to go back and design tapered. So I made it work. But I feel like y'all need to know how to wrap this if y'all want to make another one. I don't think I put the files on the Dropbox just yet, or the Google Drive just yet. I will do that once we get off of here today though. But this is the file. You're going to have two different file options. You're going to have this one, which is the stencil option to do a peekaboo, which is what we're doing together. Or you'll have the option to actually just cut out the stripes in the white vinyl and put them on your cup. If you don't want to do the paint and all of that. Both ways are acceptable, but I felt like showing y'all the peekaboo option would be more beneficial. A lot of people know already how to apply vinyl to a cup, so I didn't want to just do that. I wanted to do the peekaboo option. So, straight file is what you'll get for both of them. You'll have to kind of adjust the lines on the vinyl one too, but this is the file. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this right quick, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put our other foam and arm in this one, and then I'm going to run out and I'm going to spray paint this one after we tape it off. That way this one can be drying while we do this part of our tumbler, okay? I don't know how many of you have spray painted a cup before. I'm pretty sure that I know Linnell and Teresa have. I'm not sure about Michelle Smith. But when we get ready to spray paint this, I'm going to have to run out back because I'm obviously not going to spray paint in my room. But I'm going to run out the back door. I'm going to spray paint it and all that fun stuff. We're going to let it dry while we are doing the white part of our cup, and then we'll grab this and pull off all the stencil pieces to get it ready for kind of the next step. So I will have to run out of the room for just a few minutes, but I'm going to also expect y'all to be kind of outside spray painting at the same time I am. But when you spray paint, don't go and hold it down all over your cup. That's what's going to cause a lot more of your runs. So you want to do kind of burst of paint. You want to go okay? That'll help cut down on the drips and the buildup and all that of your paint. So I'm going to show you how I wrap these, and then we will tape it off and we will prepare it for paint, and then we will be spray painting, okay? So first off, what I do on mine, and I didn't grab my scissors. Hold please. I usually have my transfer tape over the edge just a little bit so I can stick it down. But on one of my edges, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut exactly down the side of the stencil. So right down the side of where my design is, I'm going to cut it, okay? Then I'm going to grab my tumbler and we're going to wrap this thing. Okay, so I kind of wrap it around. I put that edge down because this is the edge I cut to see if it's going to be straight. Right now it's not straight. Let go. Typically I will tend to, if you know your vinyl paper, your backing is straight, you can put it down on the table and kind of use that as a straight edge to have it on. And then kind of angle it from there and see if we match up again. Okay, so Since this is a tapered cup, what you're wanting to look for to make sure it matches up is not these pieces in the center. Because it's tapered, it looks a little funky in the center, okay? What you want to see that matches up is your top and your bottom if they are straight across. So let's go. That looks better. Okay. And I know this one has a slight gap. I'm going to show you how to fix that in 1 second. But right now we're just trying to make sure that it's going to apply straight to our tumbler. Okay. So we're at now. We're good on that part. Okay. So now you got to hold it in place with your hand. Hold super tight. Don't let it move. I'm going to lift up this transfer tape. And we're going to remove. Of course, it doesn't want to stick. We're using some of the transfer tape that I used for y'all's, and it doesn't want to stay. Hold that in place. Not let that move. Get my stencil to stick to my transfer tape. Okay. I'm going to pull part of that back. Make sure that all sticks so I don't cut off part of my stencil. There we go. I'm going to move part of that back and I'm going to cut off a piece of this, okay? Cut off this backing. And I felt that move, so we're going to make sure that it still lines up before I stick that down. Okay. It's too high. And this is exactly why I asked the question of y'all, because these can be a little bit of a struggle until you get used to them. Okay, there we go, that looks better. Okay, so once you've got it lined up, go ahead and stick that part down. And then now's where we're going to use like kind of use it like a hinge here. My transfer tape is not long enough, so there we go. Okay. So at this point, you're just going to make sure that your transfer tape is holding onto your stencil pieces, and you're going to apply those to your cup. I kind of used some of the transfer tape that I had left from y'all, so mine's not wanting to stay on the transfer tape very well, but it's okay. I use my transfer tape until it just flat won't stick no more. So I'm used to a little struggle, so it's not a big deal. You just kind of go through and you'll pull back. And I like to just kind of smooth mine on with my hand. Oh, that triangle didn't stick. Stay down. And you just go all along your cup doing the same thing. I'm going to have to persuade mine to stay. Same thing with the lines here. Alright, little guy. You gotta come off that backing. You gotta come off the backing. Make sure that all of our lines from our gate stay in place. Come on now, be nice. That's what I get for trying to just reuse the transfer tape I already have, but it's okay. It's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. What doesn't want to stay, I will apply back in just a second. It's not a big deal. Sometimes if you put some pressure on it, it'll lift it up for you, but sometimes it's just gonna be cranky. And that's okay, we'll make it work. Cool. Just gonna see if I can get all of this off, and then we'll wrap it around. You can kind of see how I'm kind of going through and giving it a little pressure as I pull up. And on a lot of them it makes a difference, and it allows that to go ahead and stick and come up. And some of them it does not want to move. And this transfer tape has been on here for a while. Or this, yeah, transfer tape has been on this cut for a bit. So, because I cut and transfer taped mine whenever I got all y'all's ready. I figured it would stick, but it's okay. Choop. That one. That one. That one. That one, and one more. Come on, little guy. No.
No, you shall not take me.
There we go. Yay. We'll come back and get our gate in just a second. Alright, so we're just going to wrap it around. When you get to this other side, make sure you lift up this transfer tape extra flap that we had. Pull it back. And then finish putting your stencil down. Don't put your stencil on top of your transfer tape, because then you got to pull it off the transfer tape. That ain't no fun, promise. I know these don't lap or don't match perfectly, but that's okay. I'm going to show y'all that in just a second because of this sneaky taper we have. Sneaky taper.
It's a fun word to say.
Push these down as we go. Pull all of this off. Awesome. Okay. We're going to come back and grab our gate pieces that didn't want to transfer. Grab my squeegee. I'm going to cut around this because I'm fixing to throw this piece of transfer tape in the trash. I think it's had its lifespan. Oh, that's going in the trash. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and just peel the back off of this, and then we'll line it up so we can actually see everything. Okay, so I know that some of our lines stayed, so that's going to actually help us because we know where these other lines need to go to match up. There we go. All that matched up, so we're going to just push that on, and then we'll peel this transfer tape off. Ta-da! Alright, I know that was kind of crazy. Sorry that my transfer tape didn't want to cooperate. But, okay. So now that I've got it wrapped, this looks almost like y'all's. And I say almost because I went through and I trimmed these pieces here where it meets up on all of y'all's. So, we're going to do that on mine as well. So for these bottom ones, you'll see how it overlaps the two there. What I'm going to do is where they actually meet up to form that diamond shape or triangle shape, whatever you want to call it, I'm taking my X-Acto knife or Cricut knife or whatever you want to use, whatever you have, I'm just trimming right along that edge. Bless you. You want to trim on both the top, on both sides, and the bottom, because if you look, let go of me. There we go. If you look, you can see where it sneaks out over the edges there too. So you'd want to take your knife, go down the angled parts of those, and cut those off. Okay, so now you can see we have the nice pretty lines on that one. We're going to do the same thing on this one, and then we're going to adjust this one because it's got that gap right there that we don't want. So the top and the bottom, just follow that angled line of your diamond shape. Let go of me. I'm sure at this point all of y'all are like, whew, I'm glad that I said, yes, you do this, please. Please wrap before sending it to me. That's okay. I know a lot of people, the wrapping makes them nervous. It's okay. Especially when it's not just a straight design. Like this is pretty detailed kind of wrap. So I get it. It's okay. All right. So now with this one, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take off half of this very carefully. Make sure not to tear it or stretch it or anything like that. You're just going to carefully go under it. And if you wanted to, like you could cut this one piece off of your paper backing and then transfer it later so you don't have to worry about taking it back off. And of course I broke the nail that I need last night and I'm like, this is not working. See? I broke it last night. It just right snapped off. And I'm like, great. Great. Try to get it with this next one, but I am not as coordinated with that finger. I'm on the struggle bus today, guys. There we go. Okay. So my top looks a little rough, but it's okay. So once you get this piece off, literally you just take and you're going to line this piece up straight with this other piece that is on here. It didn't work so well. Let's see if I can straighten out my top where my nail was not playing nice today. Sorry, y'all are staying on top of my head for just a minute. Okay. So, just straighten that up, line it back up with it. Still got this wonky little overhang right here. So we're just gonna go boop, cut it right off. And there we go. Come on, little guy. Come on. There we go. Like I can't get it with my nail because I don't have that nail. Okay. Whew, we made it. All right. So here's now mine looks like y'all's looked when y'all got them. So this is what we have now. It's all gonna be stenciled and ready to be spray painted. So now what I need you guys to do, along with me, is to get your clear piece and some tape. You can use whatever size tape you have. It doesn't really matter. I like to use the big one on the bottom so I don't have to have so many stripes of it. And I use the little one on the top. But what we're going to do is you're going to get a piece of your masking tape, painter's tape, whatever you have. On this part at the top, you can see where it's got this slight little ledge right here. This piece up here is actually what fits into the metal piece of this part, okay? We do not want paint on that part. We want it to still be the clear acrylic, nothing on it, so it fits right for one, and we don't have any problems with it leaking after we put these two together, okay? So grab you a piece of painter's tape, masking tape, whatever you have, and we're gonna go right up to that edge of this cup. Don't go over it, just right up to it, okay? May take a little persuasion since we are dealing with that sneaky taper.
That is the key word for today, persuasion.
Persuasion. Don't give up, it's okay. Nothing is permanent till it's under epoxy. That's what we're going with. Okay. Now, one thing I have started to do with my tape, I still have stencil on my finger. When I get to the end, instead of sticking it all the way down and then you're like trying to peel it whenever you got paint and everything everywhere, this edge, oh my goodness, this stencil piece does not want to leave me alone. Go away. Okay, sorry about that. On the edge, I take it, I will fold it over before I stick it down. Get off of that little lovely edge. That way, I already have a little handle, okay? So whenever I come in here and I need to take this off, I grab that handle and whoop, we're taking it off, okay? So that's something y'all can start doing. I've started doing that and I do like it much better. I have that little handle, that little place hold just to pull. I know exactly where my tape stops. I know exactly where my tape starts. And I'm not trying to pick at it with wet paint or wet whatever, okay? So let's take this top off just to the ledge, not over the ledge, and give yourself a handle at the end. Okay, I'll give y'all a second to get that done. I'm going to take me a drink right quick because my mouth is getting dry. Give me a thumbs up when you've got your top rim taped.
Nothing's permanent until it's under epoxy.
Yep, nothing's permanent until it's under epoxy. Most everything else, you can either wipe off, take off, or spray paint over again.
Right.
So, thumbs up when you have the top rim taped, and we'll move to the bottom rim. Oh, there's Linnell, thumbs up. Okay. Teresa, how are y'all doing? Got it. Okay, perfect. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to flip her over, and we're going to take the bottom. I will say this isn't absolutely necessary, but totally advised. We'll put that disclaimer in. You could paint the bottom if you want to. That is totally up to you. However, I will say, keep in mind that if you spray paint the bottom, when you're filling it up with the snow globe solution, you can't see how full it is or how not full it is. Either which way. Okay? So I like to tape my bottom, and I just tape inside this area. I don't tape this flat lifted rim. I just tape this inside part. So what I do is I take my tape, and this one, like I said, I like to use my bigger one because I don't have to use so many pieces. And I start in the middle, and I kind of put it down in the middle, and I work it out to my edges. Kind of give it a little leeway and push it in with my fingernail. Same way on both sides. And I'll take my X-Acto or knife, whatever. I'm going to trim that off in there. Remove that piece. Same thing on the other side. Then I take the pieces I just cut off and I do the outsides. Again, I start by pushing it down in the center and working my way out. This is going to be a little harder because there's really not a way to make a handle to hold and grab on this one. But since we're not going to be spray painting the bottom, your tape won't be covered up. There we go. Okay. Whoop, come back. And again, the other side. Push it in the middle. And work it out. Alright. Take the knife. Trim up. And remove. Ta-da! Okay. So we got a tape butt and a tape top. And our tape top has a handle. Okay? Check, check. Check it, check it, check. Tape butt, tape top with a handle. Don't go anywhere with your tape. We're going to need that for the white centerpiece too. Alright. Once you're all taped up, go ahead and put your foamy and your arm in the center of this one too, okay? Make sure it's straight. Yep. Okay. Let me know when you've got it. Tape butt, tape top with a handle. Make sure that your foam is down in enough so whenever you go to pull this tape off, if you push it over the top, that it's going to come off, okay? It's not going to be stuck in your foam. So, how we doing? Give me a thumbs up when we're all taped up. Thumbs up there. Got one thumbs up. And the spray paint that I like to use is this Rust-Oleum 2x paint primer, and I use the flat. I know a lot of people say it doesn't really matter, and I mean, I have had it matter and I've had it not matter, so I don't know if it depends on colors or makes or what, but I use this one. It's flat. One else has got it. Cool. It is a flat white paint. I like to use the flat. To me, I have less problems with the repelling of the flat spray paints than I do with the glossy spray paints or the semi-gloss. Semi-gloss is better than the glossy, but I just try to get flat when at all possible, okay? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you shake your spray paint up. I'm not going to shake it in here because it's going to be super loud and I don't want to hurt those ears. But shake your spray paint up really good. Make sure it sounds like the little ball's moving and that it's not clumpy or anything like that. And then we're going to spray paint this, okay? Like I said, don't just hold it down and move your cup all around. Try to, if you do short bursts up and down, you're going to get a more even coat on your spray paint, okay? So everybody step outside, get this spray painted, and when you are back, if you will type in there, I'm back, that way I know when everybody's back with me. I'm going to go spray paint mine, and I will be right back and see where y'all are at, okay? So, go spray paint your cups outside, come back in, and type I'm back, okay? Alright, I'll be back. Watch my hands. We're done. All right, cool. Teresa and Mia, since y'all are done, I'm waiting on Linnell to get back, but your top rim, go ahead and pull that piece of tape off. Don't worry about the bottom, because the bottom doesn't have really any paint on it, so I'm not concerned with the bottom. We'll pull that off whenever the cup is dry. But right now, go ahead and pull off your top rim tape, the one that we put the handle on. My paint did this weird bubbly thing. I don't know what happened, but it'll be okay because most of the weird bubbles are on the stencil that we're going to remove anyway, so it'll be okay. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Let Linnell get back, and then we'll pull the tape off, and then Teresa and Mia, if y'all want to go ahead and set this piece of the cup somewhere where it's not going to get bumped or hit or whatever, so it can dry, and then we'll come back to it after we finish our inside part. So if y'all want to go ahead and find a place to set that to the side, that'd be great. Linnell's back. All right, cool. Okay, Linnell, so since you're back now, I'm going to do this with you. Our little top piece of tape, we're going to go ahead and pull that off. So grab your handle, pull that off. The bottom I'm not so concerned with because we didn't really paint on the bottom, so I'm not worried about it sticking or anything. So let's go ahead and pull this tape off the top. Leave your tape on the bottom, it's not going to hurt anything. But now set this somewhere to dry, where it's not going to get knocked over or anything like that. Set this somewhere to dry. I have two stands in here, so I'm just going to set this back over here. And let that dry over there. Some of this stuff out of the way because now I'm fixing to need my turner. One of these is fast and one of these is slow. Which one is which? 3 and 6. Okay. So I'm gonna put it on the slower side. Here. Okay. So get your turner situated on your inside piece situated on your tumbler. Make sure you have your silicone mat. Make sure you have your heat gun. We're going to need our tape because we're going to tape off this up here so we don't get any epoxy in there, and your alcohol ink. That might help. Gloves. cup. Grab my marker to mark my mixing cup. Okay, so epoxy, tape, alcohol ink, gloves, mixing, dill, the white part of our tumbler, heat gun. Okay, I think this is all that we need right this second. Okay, so what we do, well, let me know if y'all ready to move, to move forward. Give me a thumbs up if we're ready for the next step. And I will say normally, I forgot to tell y'all, normally I do put a glove on the hand that I'm holding my cup with when I spray paint so I don't get spray paint on my hands. So, I want to keep that in mind for next time. Ready? Okay. That way you're not worried about getting all the paint off of your hands. Like I just did. Okay. Got Linnell ready. Teresa, are you and Mia ready? Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tape off this silver part here because we don't want our epoxy to get in that or on this or anything like that. So, hang on. This stencil piece does not want to leave me alone. Then it was on my cup. Go away, buddy. Okay. So we're going to take some tape. This one you'll probably want to use a smaller tape for. Just because we don't want to try to have to mess with a whole big piece of tape on here. But what you're going to do is you're going to get you a piece of tape and you're just going to go, it's going to be a little weird to start out with, but you're going to put your tape up against the white part of your cup and then you're going to push it down on the rim. Don't push it down into that cavity. Just push it down onto the rim, leaving it still kind of straight sticking out on your tumbler. Okay, so get your piece of tape and then we're going to overlap to where we don't leave a hole or a gap. I'm going to do the next one. See how it overlaps but not leaving a gap in the cup? See if I can kind of move this a little closer. See how it's got it there? And we're going to do that all the way around the rim of this cup. I'm not pushing it in to the cup or into the valley. We're just going all the way up to the cup and pushing it on the silver rim that's right here. Another piece of tape. We're going all the way around. Now this is going to seem a little time consuming, maybe a little weird, but it's a lot better than trying to dig epoxy out of this opening to get your cup to fit back together. Just right up to it. All the way around. Let me know if you have any questions as you're doing this, but it's just the same steps we're repeating over and over until we meet back to the other side. like I said, don't push it down into the cup. We're just keeping it straight, flat across, as flat as you can. I know it's tape and it's a little flimsy, but as long as you don't push it in, it should stay pretty straight. That one a little too short, but we'll make it work for a small area. Up and down. Starting to meet back up, at least on my end. Done this a few times, so don't feel bad if you're not as far as I am. Just keep going around at your pace. I will pause like normal and wait for y'all to get to where I'm at. So don't stress. It's gonna take one more piece. I still got a hole there a little bit bigger than I like, so. Okay. Whole rim. So that's what we look like now. I know it looks a little funny. I know it does. But that's, let's see, I'll set it down here. That's what we're looking like right now, okay? Tape all the way around the outside edges. Looking like we're giving her a skirt. And she's just flat across, okay? Flat across, not smooshed in. Anything like that, just flat across. Let me know when your tape is done. Done, says Linnell. Okay, perfect. For this next step, having everything ready is going to be super important because we have a very short working time. Well, at least I'm using Mr. Nola's Fast Set. I know that's what Linnell and Teresa both use as well. I'm not sure what everybody else uses, but that's what I like to use. So we only have like a 10 to 15 minute working time. Perfect. So you want to make sure that you have everything for this next step ready. And the alcohol inks, if you're using a Fast Set epoxy, you've got to kind of move at a little faster pace. So make sure you have your epoxy, your alcohol ink, and your heat gun ready to go, okay? So for this cup is a 20 ounce. And so I'm only going to use 20 mLs of epoxy for this. I'm blind as a bat, even though I have my contacts in. Sometimes these little things on the cups don't show. So I take my marker and I mark the 10 ml line and the 20 ml line. That way I can see it and know where to stop. So I'm using 20 mLs total. So it's going to be 10 of part A, 10 of part B. I'm going to put my gloves on. Yes, I use 2 different gloves. I ordered large gloves for when I used to teach in-person classes, and they were too large for everybody. So instead of wasting them, I use those on the hand that I hold my cup with, and then I use the medium one on the hand to actually apply my epoxy with, so that I don't get a bunch of ridges and stuff like that. So, yeah, I know it looks a little funky, but waste not, want not. I do not like to waste things. So, get your gloves on. Get your cup marked. I'm going to go ahead and put my cup on my turner. Try not to disturb your tape. And as you're putting your epoxy on, you don't want to push your epoxy so far under that it pushes that tape in. You want to do more so of a bringing down method instead of it going up. Like you can go up to a certain part and then just kind of come back down with your hand, okay? So don't push it up underneath that tape. Make sure your alcohol ink is open. I don't know if y'all already had the Caribbean colored alcohol ink that y'all have open, so you don't have to open another one. If you don't, what I suggest to do, some people cut off the tops of their alcohol inks. I don't like to do that because then the cap doesn't seal it properly. So what I do is I will unscrew, mine's already open, but anyway, I will unscrew the top off of the bottle. Then I will pop the white top off. Then I take my weeding pick and I poke a hole in the top, which like I said, mine's already open, so it doesn't want to stay, but I poke a hole in mine. I don't cut it off because it doesn't seal properly after that. Then I put my lid back on and then I screw it back onto my alcohol ink. Okay? So make sure alcohol ink is open. And then we're going to mix. I'm going to open up mine and set it up here. Okay, here it goes, okay? So 20 mLs total, 10 part A, 10 part B if you have a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm using Mr. Nola's Fast Set. And these lovely little squeeze bottles that I got on Amazon because it makes it so much easier to squeeze. And 10. Oh, I forgot to grab my mixing stick. I need my star stick. Alright, Alexa, start a timer for 2 minutes. Alexa, start a timer for 2 minutes.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good
2
morning.
minutes, starting now.
Alright, we're gonna mix her up, mix her up, mix her up. Oh, I forgot to turn on my timer. Turned on, getting the way we're going. Cool. At least it went on the first time instead of me having to turn off, on, off, on, off, on. Knew what I needed. When I stir my epoxy, I always stir the same direction. I try to kind of stir to where I'm getting the middle, kind of angle my brush, also, or my stir stick. I also make sure and go around the outside and the bottom, just to kind of make sure you're getting all of that epoxy mixed up in there. And then at some part, because it tends to kind of glob on your stir stick, so about halfway through, estimate about halfway through, I take and I'll wipe that off, grab my edges and stir again. I think all of us in here have been making tumblers for a little bit, so I'm sure you probably know how to mix epoxy, but just sharing my tips for those who may not. And with this one has a 2-minute stir time. Yours may not. Follow the directions on yours if you're not using Nola's Fast Set. my timer hasn't gone off yet, but I know it's mixed because it's clear on my stick and no little stringy things. So. She'll be going off in a minute. Okay, y'all. You're going to see my belly for a minute, or at least not my skin belly, but my shirt belly, because I can't epoxy sitting down. So here goes. Move my heat gun for a second. Alexa, stop. This is how I epoxy. Y'all may epoxy different. That's totally you. You do you. That's okay. This is just how I do it. Get it on here. Nice even coats. And I'm just allowing my finger to go along across that top edge where that metal rim is of that cup. I'm not pushing into it, just up to it, okay? And again, same method for the bottom part of my cup. And when you're doing the alcohol inks, you do want to kind of get a flood coat, so you want to use a little bit more just so your alcohol inks have a little bit more epoxy for movement. You don't want to do a super thin coat. You do want a little bit of a heavier coat. It's kind of thin down here, so I'm going to do, come back here. Have the drippies.
Crazy how it doesn't fall off.
Yeah, that's why you do it on a rotating turner. It just rotates around as it turns.
Physics.
Yeah. All that sciencey stuff, you know. And don't forget your bottom, because you do want to do the butt. I kind of like to put some alcohol drips down my butt too, so that way even it has some color. I know with the snow globes, typically your glitter will tend to settle, and so you don't always see the butt of the cup, but I still, bless you, I still decorate it. And for the top, like I said, don't push underneath it, but I literally just got a little bit on my finger. I'm just going around the top. And I want to make sure that I've got epoxy up to the tape, but not under the tape. Don't push it underneath there. And you still may not use all 20 mLs. That's okay. If you have a mold nearby to pour it in, pour it in. If not, do you? Sometimes, depending on how much it is, I'll throw it away, wrap it in my glove, throw it away. But make sure you have a decent coat of epoxy on your tumbler. Let's see, I've got about 5 mLs left, in case y'all are wondering. So, I mean, you probably could have gotten away with 15 mLs, and that would have been okay. That's just not what I did. I like to have a little bit more instead of not enough. Let's see. Okay, grabbing a mold so I can pour this into. No, it doesn't have any glitter in it or whatever, but still. I happen to have some straw topper molds up here, so I'm gonna pour it in. Typically, you don't want to use your fast set in a lot of molds because it can get hot. So definitely don't use it in deep molds because you will have a mess on your hands. It will flash cure and bubble and burn, and you will have epoxy melted into your mold, and you might as well just throw it away. But this one's pretty shallow, so I'm not super worried about it. Flash curing on me, okay? What I do with mine, I always take my cup and I put it in the hand I epoxied with, and I take the other hand, I'll pull that glove over my cup, then I put that in my hand, pull that glove over so that way it's nice and contained. I have a little one still at home, I have dogs at home, so I want to make sure that they do not get into, actually I'm going to put that up here for a second because I'm going to hit it with my cord. I want to make sure they don't get into any of the epoxy. It's not good for them, so. Okay. Alright, so now we got kind of a ticking time bomb here. We've got to make sure, getting a buildup of epoxy on that piece of tape. We don't want that. If you're getting any little buildups, take your stir stick, popsicle stick, whatever, and kind of smooth them out. But now what we're going to do is you're going to take your alcohol ink and we're going to apply it down your cup, okay? The more blue you want, the more alcohol ink you put on. The less blue you want, the less alcohol ink you put on. I kind of just, as it's going around, I just kind of take and I let it drop, drop, drop. When the white part comes back around again, drop, drop, drop. Kind of hitting. I need you to come this way, not the other way. Kind of hitting those turns, okay? Anywhere I see a lot of white, I'll put a drop. If I see a space that I know I want some blue, I'll put a drop. But remember, we're fixing to heat this up and make them move around. So don't cover your cup in alcohol inks right this second. Now, where it comes down this way, that's where I'll take my alcohol ink and I'll kind of let it drip down the bottom and let it do its thing on the bottom of my cup, okay? You can see where it kind of come back around. That's okay, because that's about where I needed it anyway, okay? Now, once you think you've got enough alcohol ink on your turner or on your tumbler, I think I need another one right there. That's kind of a big white spot. Because sometimes you can heat it up again and make it move again. A lot of times, once you do your first one, that's it. You're done, okay? Get that done, and then you want to get your heat gun. I like using my big heat gun. It puts out a little more heat and allows for more movement. I'm sorry if this is going to get loud, but just kind of follow with me. We're going to heat it up just enough to where it starts moving, but we don't want it dripping off of our cup, okay? And you're just going to do sections at a time. Okay, you can see where it's starting to heat up. That's where you want to kind of hit it. That's what's going to get that movement going. You can go back and forth. And get it moving around your cup. Once you get your top kind of moving, do your bottom. Don't go too close or you can actually start to burn your epoxy. Don't freak out too much. It's going to still move a little bit when you stop hitting it with the heat. So don't freak out if it's not exactly like you like it. Give it a second. Let it see where it's going to go. Now what I do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my turner going the other way. So it's going this way now. I'm going to stop it and make it go the other way. So that way you get a kind of a secondary movement. Some people like doing that. Some people don't. I think it kind of gives it a little bit of a different movement when you do that. So that's just a personal preference of mine. It's up to you. I probably should have put another drop or two of alcohol ink up here, but it's okay. We're going to have all the decorations over it, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. I put a little bit less than I did on that one last time, but that's okay. Alcohol ink cups will never look the same. Never. You're not ever going to be able to get the exact same look onto alcohol ink cups because it all depends on exactly where you put those dots, how you blow it with the heat gun, how it heats up, how it moves, all of that fun stuff. So, you're never, if somebody says I want one exactly like that and it's an alcohol ink cup, make sure you prepare them and say, I'll get it as close as I can, but with the method that is used to make this cup, it's never guaranteed to be identical, okay? So just a disclosure when you're doing alcohol ink cups. So we're going to give it a minute. We're going to let it kind of see if it's going to still move or not. See what it does. Mine, since I've stopped hitting it with the heat, it really doesn't look like it's moving anymore, which is typical with the fast set epoxy, so don't freak out. It's okay. Just gonna kind of keep an eye on it for a minute. Let y'all do your thing. Let's see here. Almost poured it out. Don't do that. Recap your alcohol ink. It is an alcohol ink. There is alcohol in here. It will dissipate. It will dry out. Recap your alcohol ink. Okay. How did that go for everybody? Are we okay? Are we still working? If you're still working, just keep working. Don't say still working. Don't take time to type me because you have a time limit, okay? So, when you're done, let me know that you're done. I'm going to clean up my stir stick. Done. Love mine. Yay! Awesome! Don't forget to clean your stir stick. Ready, Teresa says. Very cool. If you're using a stir stick, clean it off. If you're using a popsicle stick, throw it away. We're going to let this spin for just a couple more minutes, and then we're going to get a glove on, and we're going to remove that tape. You want to remove it while your epoxy is still wet or tacky at the very most. I like to use it while it's still a little wet and pliable, because if you remove it when it's tacky and you get these strings, you got to go back and cut those strings before you can put your cup back together. So, we're going to give that a minute or two. Let that set while I clean up. And then we're going to get a glove on and pull that tape. Get that alcohol ink earlier. There we go. All right. Got it off. This one's going to have to be done as 2 parts again, because this has to set, but I'm going to give y'all some instructions on what to do after this sets. Because we'll need it set, and we'll need y'all to have the clear part epoxied and connected to it so we can come back. Haven't even used glitter yet. I've still got glitter everywhere. Okay. I think we're looking good. I don't see any more movement on mine. So as long as y'all aren't seeing any movement on yours either, let's go ahead and grab a glove just in case we accidentally touch this epoxy. We need to be safe. Grab you a glove. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to carefully start removing this tape. Sometimes you can seem like I caught the corner of mine, and now it's just all kind of peeling off. That's okay. Make sure you peel it away from the cup and it doesn't get into the cup. But just slowly get all of that tape off of the top rim of your cup. Come off my glove. Gonna take a look at it, make sure everything still looks good. Make sure I didn't accidentally scratch or make an indent anywhere. Nothing's moving up into the top, so we look good. I'm happy with that. All right. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay. So now, I am going to kind of move mine over. You need to let this turn until your cup is set. Mr. Nola's fast set. It turns for an hour, sets for an hour, so a total of 2 hours, and you can kind of move on to the next step. But for right now, I've got to get mine, of course, out of my way so that we can go back to our spray painted piece. So let me take just a minute to move that. Carefully slide that out for a second. Carefully move this over. And then we will carefully slide my mat back under. Right. Okay. Anthony, remember that is wet epoxy.
Yes.
Don't touch.
No touch.
No touchy touchy. Alright.
Is that right there? Good
Yep,
right there?
that's good right there. Wet epoxy. No touchy touchy.
What epoxy?
All right, so let's go back to this guy. How is everybody's spray painted cover, we'll call it cover, looking? Are we pretty dry? Are we not dry at all? How are we looking? Are these ready to carefully touch? Carefully. Dry. Perfect. Oh, where'd it go? Where is my Caesar weeding tool? I do not know. Teresa says dry. Okay. I don't always care for that one. But, okay. I don't know where it's at, but we'll make this work. So, some people have varying opinions on how to remove stencil or vinyl or whatever you're using on a peekaboo. I like to use my Caesar weeding tool because it's a lot thinner and I can kind of get it in there easier. Some people like to use tweezers, so I would advise you to try both, okay? See which one is more comfortable to you and use that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna carefully remove this stencil vinyl. Now what I like to do is I kind of like to start, like we're gonna just start right here. I kind of like to start up a little bit and kind of poke my weeding tool through the vinyl and lift. So this one is not going to be strong enough. I'm going to have to go find my Caesar one if this doesn't work. But I kind of go out and lift up that edge and then you can pull it away. If you go too close to the edge, you're risking scratching the white of your paint that's actually going to stay on your cup, and you don't want to do that. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you do. I did accidentally scratch this one right here, and I think that may have been the only time on this one. The butterfly, the other butterfly one I scratched. Oh, there it is, right there. One right there. It's not a huge deal. I mean, if you wanted to, you could touch it up with some acrylic paint or what have you. But we're going to be epoxying over it. We're going to add some glitter. Yay, thank you. We're going to add some glitter to it, so it's not a huge deal. Just be careful and take it a little easy. But, like I said, go back a little bit. Start back. Ah! See? Did it already. It slid on me. I wasn't pushing far enough in. So you go back a little bit and you push, get under the vinyl and lift. This takes a little bit of figuring it out, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. On the big ones, I do the same thing. I go a little further back from one of the edges, and I lift. Let's lift this other side back up. Try not to scratch your paint off, and try not to go so deep that you're scratching the clear acrylic cover either, okay? So carefully all the way around. And on these bigger pieces, you can kind of go inward when you're poking, and then once you have your hole started, you can turn it around to lift up. Don't get in a hurry for this process. Take your time. Take your time. And try not to put your hands all over your spray paint. Try to hold on to your cup using the tumbler, the turner arm. So we don't want fingerprints, just in case it's not completely dry. Bigger ones are easier, obviously, because they're bigger. You've got more of a space to grab hold of than the little ones. More of an area that you can get into and not scratch your paint that's going to stay. You can kind of go in whatever direction. You can see I'm going around the top of mine first, but that's, again, totally up to you. And if you need a spot to put your finger or rest your finger, put it on top of one of the other stencil pieces that you're going to be removing, just in case your paint is still sticky. You're not going to put a fingerprint in your paint. start to see our design come to life. Starting to see that trellis look on our tumbler. As you can see, I prefer the weeding tool, or the weeding pick, whatever. I like the Caesar one because, like I was saying earlier, it's got a lot thinner pick on it than the Caesar, or than the Cricut one. So to me, it helps me get up under and grab hold a lot better. But I know for some people, the tweezers are easier for them, so it's a personal preference. You do however you feel more comfortable. Right there. Don't do that. Don't scratch. Come on. Lift for me. There we go. I recommend removing your stencil once your paint is kind of dry. I don't like leaving vinyl or stencil or whatever on a cup for terribly long after I paint over it, whether it's spray paint or acrylic paint, just because if it's got too much paint over that vinyl and it's like totally dry, then you risk pulling off the paint if it's really good and stuck together from what's over your vinyl and what's on the cup. So I don't like to let it set forever before I try to pull. Come back here. And those ones where it overlaps, where it meets in the middle and the back, don't forget to remove both pieces of the stencil vinyl. Ah, scratched my cup again. Or my paint, darn it. That's okay. Oh, there might go. Hope everybody's doing okay. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to help. I know this takes a little bit of time. Okay, once you've got all of your trellis pieces done, go ahead and do your gate. I kind of just start at the bottom of one of the lines, just like we did everything else, and then just follow it around. Alright, let go, guy. There we go. Ah, darn it. My weeding pick keeps slipping. Ugh, I sound like I'm sleeping. Jeez. It's okay. Like I said, if that bothers you, you don't like it there, just take an acrylic paint pen or paint marker or just a tiny brush and acrylic paint, chalk paint, and just touch up that little bit. But honestly, it's okay for it not to be perfect. And then this big top part of your gate, you're gonna have to like start by pulling up some of these bottom pieces, kind of get it started, and then pull it around and pull it off. And then don't forget to take the butt tape off. So do. Okay, take a whirl around here. Make sure it all looks okay. There's a couple of spots where I didn't get my stencil pushed down all the way, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I think that looks good. Alright. Let me know how it's going, y'all. Let me know, let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you're struggling. let me know when you're done with this part. Let me know. I hope y'all are enjoying making this one. I had fun designing it, so I hope y'all are loving it. I do. Far from done. Mine are coming off in little pieces. Oh. Okay. Teresa, are you having any problems with yours? Coming off in little pieces. I know that they have been on the cups for a little bit, but the stencil should be good. The vinyl is really stuck on there. I just kind of got situated. It likes to be on the cup because it's been on there for a little bit, but now when you're getting it off, is it coming off cleanly? At least it's not leaving any residue or anything behind, right? It's just coming off in smaller pieces than mine did. It was really stuck on there. Okay. Yeah, it has to just be because it's been on there for a little bit where I applied it before shipping it. But it's not leaving any residue, right? No residue left behind. Still coming off clean. Not leaving residue. Okay, perfect. That's my main concern. As long as it's not leaving residue, then we're good. It's gonna just, yeah, be a little fussy to get off. Okay, so quick question while y'all are working on that. Mine is leaving residue. Okay. So with the residue, if it's leaving residue behind, what we may do, I want your spray paint to be totally and completely dry. And then what I want you to do is take like a Q-tip with some alcohol on it and just kind of carefully go over where it's left residue behind and get that off of there. But make sure that your spray paint is totally dry. So next question, it's 12:30, so we've been on here for 2 hours. I try to keep these to a 2-hour time limit. I had kind of planned on doing the keychain today, but we can either do the keychain the next time, or I can record it and post the recording of doing the keychain for y'all. I did include a extra little kit in here this time. It's a keychain blank, and it says DIY till I die. I thought it was super cute. So we can wait and do this next time, or I can do a recording of it. Because next time, y'all have a little bit of homework before we come back next time to finish this up. Because next time what I'll need you to have done is I will need your vines that you want to put on the inside part, the blue part that we did. I need you to have your vines where you want them on that, and I need that to be epoxied over, whether that is, no, I don't want you to use UV resin. I want you to do another thin coat of epoxy over that. Again, if you need to tape it off, if you don't feel like you can keep the epoxy out of that little rim up there, tape it off again, and then epoxy. If you feel like you can keep it out of that rim, just go ahead and epoxy it. But I need your vines placed on the inside where you want them, and the epoxy over your vines. So let's see. So we got a vine, we got to epoxy the inside. Then we have to attach them. We have to vine and epoxy outside, but that doesn't get done until we snow globe the inside after that is attached. So really we really kind of need a couple more steps. Okay, y'all keep pulling stencil while I think through this for a minute. Let's see. How do I want to break this up? Because several parts we need to do.
Are you fixing to call good?
Not yet. Okay, so we still have to vine and epoxy inside. And then we have to vine and epoxy. And then we have to epoxy the sleeve onto the inside, and that has to cure. So this has to cure, this has to cure. So this will be a 2-hour time or more, because we gotta put liquid in that. And this will be a 2-hour or a little bit more for the 2 to seal. So we gotta put liquid on it. Well, actually, that could be a 2-hour. Then we could epoxy this. So that, and then go into here. That'll take 2 hours plus to epoxy and set. Then once that is set, then we can snow globe and UV resin. The bottom. Then we'll need to vine and epoxy the outside. And then after that, that'll be a 2-hour plus. And then once that is smooth and final coat is on and everybody's happy, then we'll need to apply the butterfly spinners. Because because your butterfly spinners are going to be like a rhinestone, so you don't apply those until the rest of the cup is totally done. You got it completely done, you got it completely set, you got it completely smooth, then you apply your spinners. So this we can do once that's set. Then we can epoxy after that. Then we can do this part together, this part together. So I may have to do the next part as a recording, just because I don't want this to drag out for 3 weeks. I don't want to do that. That's too long. So the next part, after this part sets, I will probably come back probably this afternoon, depending on what all kind of crazy happens. And y'all can join me live if you want to. If you have something else going on, totally cool. You can watch the replay. And we will vine the inside. We will epoxy again the inside. And then we will have to epoxy this clear piece onto the inside. And then next week when we come back, next week at 10:30, we'll go ahead and come back to do the next and almost last part. We'll do the snow globe, we'll UV res on the bottom, we'll put our vines on the outside, and then we'll put our epoxy on the outside. Then again, probably later in the day, next weekend, I'll come back and show you how to apply the spinners and the butterflies, just because that's going to have to set. So I know this is a lot of steps, but I really like this design and the techniques used, so we're going to make it work. All the lives are always saved, so you can always come back if you need to. But, so this will be the next, so this will be one video. This will be another one. And then this will be a final. Now, when we come back to do the epoxy on the inside sleeve part, you can do one of two things. You can choose to just do clear epoxy like I did on this one, or you can choose to add your twinkle or your gold twinkle, and I mean just a tiny bit. The little spoons are what I use for my mica. Well, I use them for micas too. But for the twinkle and gold twinkle, like literally, you just want to add just like the tip of your little spoon into your epoxy when you're mixing. That way it'll add just a little hint of sparkle, but not like cover it like a coat of glitter, okay? So you'll still be able to see your swirls. Or like I said, you can just do a clear coat of epoxy, and then we'll add our glitter sparkle to our outside of this one. So either way is totally up to you, if you want to add that or not. So for right now, and then we'll need our keychain. So this actually, keychain here. So that'll actually probably be that set. So with this set, we'll do that, and then we'll come back next weekend and we'll do this and this. Okay. Okay, does that sound like a plan? So I'll come back and I'll do the vines and the epoxy on the inside sleeve part. Now I've got the hiccups, of course. That part, and then we will have to come back once that sets. We'll come back and I'll show you how to connect the two together, okay? And then next weekend we'll complete the actual snow globe part, putting the butterflies and the snow globe liquid mixture inside, sealing up the butt, putting our vines on the outside, and doing a coat of epoxy on the total outside. And then we'll come back later that day next weekend and apply our butterfly spinners and our keychain. Does that sound like a plan, everybody? Mia is done. Very cool. Very cool, very cool. Teresa, did yours or Mia's leave any residue on your cup when you took off the stencil? Or did it come off cleanly? Still a little ticky. Still a little ticky. Yeah, it's where the thing itself had a little black speck on it, the paint. But that's okay, I'll cover it up with a vine and you will never see it.
Every time it turns around, I'm just like,
Oh, careful.
oh, sorry.
Came off clean, no residue. Okay. Alright, cool. Glad it came off clean. I don't know why Sis has left a residue, because stencil's not supposed to, but
Might be the humidity.
that's what I was gonna say. Works for me, still working. Mine is a disaster. No, it's not. Not a disaster. Stop that. No disasters. Okay. So we're gonna break here. We're gonna come back in a little while. After I see what's going on with the store, where everything's at, and we will vine and epoxy our inside piece that we did the alcohol ink on, and then in a little bit after that sets, we'll come back and I'll show you how to connect the two. When we connect the two, you're going to want to make sure to have a heavy book or a heavy something to set on it, because when you put this in here, we fill this almost, well, we don't fill, but we put epoxy inside this metal rim, and then we slide this down into it, and you have to put something on the top to hold it down, or it's going to slowly rise up, and then you're going to have this gap. It's not going to actually be connected. So you want to make sure to have a book or something heavy you can put on top of your cup to hold it in place until that epoxy sets. So make sure and keep that in mind. Okay. One more thing I wanted to discuss with y'all before we close is, I know Linnell and Teresa watching me right now, and I don't know who the other person is watching, because it shows I have 4, and I think one's Anthony, and I don't know who the other one is. But I know that Linnell and Teresa are aware that we have decided to close the R&M Vinyl retail business. It has just become too slow to sustain itself with the economy, and everybody's struggling to even buy groceries to feed themselves. They don't really have a lot of extras to buy extras. So we've had to make the tough decision to close the storefront down. I am trying my best with everything in me to be able to keep the subscription group going and still teaching you guys and still providing the things. My only problem is that since I don't have the supplies in the storefront, since we're closing the storefront, I don't know if it's going to be more economical for me to still try to order all the things and then ship them out to you guys as a complete kit, or what we could do is I could kind of put everybody on the group access only level and then put out a supply list in enough time for y'all to be able to gather the supplies in order to make the cups with me, and then I would provide y'all with the cut files, just like I provide y'all cut files now, that y'all would be able to cut and have ready for us to follow along. So you don't have to answer me right now, and this is all, I don't want to say it's all subject to change, but it could possibly change depending on where my life kind of takes me as far as employment for myself to be able to still provide income for my family. Because as much as I love doing this group, it's so small that I don't have the capability of depending on this to be a sole income for my family, with as much as I love doing it. So let me know, and I'll probably create a poll, so you don't have to answer right this second. Kind of think it through. But let me know if you think dropping everybody to group access only and me putting out a supply list, kind of like I do now. I send the kits out at the beginning of the month, and we create it together at the end of the month. So you would have practically almost a month to gather your supplies. and we can still do it that way, and I provide y'all all the templates ahead of time. Or, if it's possible, if I can make it work, I can still provide a kit and leave those of you on the kit option. I will offer those two options right now with the heads up notice that if me providing the kits all the time doesn't become a feasible option, I will come back to y'all and let you know. Because I just don't know where my life is going to take me at this time. So, I will give y'all the option of dropping down to the group access only level and y'all being able to gather supplies ahead of time. And the option of, if possible, I'll continue the kits. I'm hoping that I don't have everybody leaving me. I know Teresa and Linnell, y'all my sisters. And then George Betty, my mom. I'm down with whatever you're able to do. Okay. I know that y'all I'm sure that y'all wouldn't just leave me. I know y'all enjoy this just as much as I do. China and Michelle kind of let me know what y'all are feeling. Rita has had a lot of issues that she has decided she's going to have to kind of drop out for now and come back later if it's still a possibility. So that really leaves me with my mom, Linnell, Teresa, Michelle, and China. So that leaves me with 5 of you guys hanging out with me here, which is only 4 kits because my mom is always group access only. She doesn't do tumblers. So that leaves me 4 of y'all to have a decision made on. But we'll see where life kind of takes everybody. But that's just kind of where my mind's going. I want y'all to have a heads up and not be shocked by anything that happens. Because I want to continue this if at all possible. This makes me happy on every Saturday to get to come in here and take my mind off of things that are kind of going on outside of my little bubble here in this room. So if at all possible, I would like to keep it going. So save me whatever is best for you and your family. So I'll support you in whatever you decide. Awesome. I love y'all. I appreciate that more than y'all know. So, with that being said, I'm going to kind of hop off here right now. I'm going to see what's kind of going on in the store at the moment. We've had a few customers in and out with the closing sale that we're doing. If y'all want to buy anything, we do ship for those of you who are not here. Sis, I'll actually see you next weekend. You're coming to town. Just the other sister went back home this week, and then Linnell's coming in next week. So, hey, I've got to see both of you very recently, so that's awesome. But anybody who needs to order anything, our website is still up. We are still offering shipping. The 30% off the store closing sale is available online. It automatically takes it off of anything in stock. Oh, another exciting thing that I did want to say to y'all, which I'm hoping I can still keep with us closing the store, but I'm hoping I can keep the custom print part of the store, so technically the store would still be open, is I'm actually an affiliate with Amazon now. So, I'll be sharing my affiliate link very, very shortly in the group. And anything that y'all purchase through my affiliate link, I actually get a small percentage back off of, the sales or purchases that y'all make through my affiliate link. With that being said, I was able to actually go in and kind of make sections in my Amazon store, my Amazon affiliate store dashboard. And so for the faux leather, which I've got some of these things here. It's not everything we're going to be creating together in 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. But here are some of the things that I created. And with the Amazon affiliate link, I actually made one board that is like my favorite craft items. I've made one board that has literally, it's all faux leather stuff. I have another one that is, oh goodness, my stuff just kind of went poof. There's like 5 different categories, 5 different sections I've set up. Y'all can go in and purchase stuff, and like I said, that supports me as well. I get a small percentage off of each sale that y'all buy as long as you go through my link. So I'll be posting that today as well, and that will be kind of where you could kind of go to buy your supplies for the faux leather class. And kind of get prepared for that. So, with that, I am going to quit rambling and quit talking right now. And I'm going to let y'all go. And we'll come back in a little bit to do the next step of this. And then next weekend, we'll do the other 2 steps of this tumbler. But I hope y'all have had fun. I hope you love it. Yay, says Teresa. Yay, I was excited. I was excited to be able to do that finally. I've applied for it before, and we didn't have enough following, so they didn't approve me, but we do now. So that is really cool. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this so far. I know we're not done, but we're getting there. So I will come back, and we will see y'all in just a little while. Bye, guys. Love y'all.